Hey everyone, today we are looking at lesson 1, which begins on Tuesday since you had off on Monday for Memorial Day. So going to lesson 1 and clicking on your notes for today, we are talking about functions today. This should be a review, so hopefully the lesson will go by super quick for you. So it says, I can identify a function given a graph, diagram, and a set of ordered pairs by analyzing data points or using the vertical line test. So if you remember, a function is a mathematical relationship that has each input assigned to exactly one output. Remember, input means X values and output means Y values. Go. In easy, simple terms, it means that the X values cannot repeat. So first we're going to work with graphs. The easiest way to identify if a graph is a function or not is to use the vertical line test. So the vertical line test is when you draw a vertical line anywhere on the relation. By the way, we use the term relation when we're not quite sure if it's a function or not yet. The vertical line should only touch the relation once. If it touches the relation in more than one spot, it is not a function. Okay, so if you think about it, I've got 3 examples down here for you. The first one is a function. So let's just estimate right here. This is going to be, I don't know, let's say the point 5, 0. Now, 5, 0 in that coordinate, 5 is the X coordinate. Now you see that we don't have any other points on the function where 5 would be an X coordinate. Therefore, 5 does not repeat. So it is a function. Now, if you look at the next one, it is not a function. So let's just kind of estimate what these 2 points would be. Let's say it's 5, 5 for this point right here. And then this point down here would be 5, negative 5. Do you see how the X values are repeating themselves? So the easiest way to do it is just draw that vertical line and see if it hits in more than one spot. But hopefully that explanation helps you understand why we do that vertical line test. And the circle is not a function either because it, no matter where you draw it, it's going to intersect in 2 spots. To identify if a relation is a function given a set of ordered pairs, we need to analyze the data points to make sure the X values correspond to exactly one Y value, aka the X values cannot repeat. So when you're looking at a set of ordered pairs, you're just looking at those X values. It is okay if the Y values repeat, it's just the X values that cannot repeat. So here I highlighted the 2 numbers that repeat themselves, so therefore this is not a function. Now if you look at the other pieces, we got 8, or the next one, we got 8, 3, 9, and negative 2. Those are all unique numbers, so therefore it is a function. And lastly, to identify if a relation is a function given a diagram, you can create a list of points from the diagram and analyze the data points to make sure the X values correspond to exactly one Y value, aka the X values cannot repeat. So some of you might be able to do these diagram functions without listing the ordered pairs on the side, and that's totally fine. But just in case, there's your foolproof method of how to figure out if it's a function or not. Remember, the numbers on the left-hand side of the diagram are the input or the X values. So 10 goes to 2, 3 goes to 3, 4 goes to 8, 7 goes to 4, and 5 goes to 8. So I wrote those out in the table to the left right here. Okay, we can look at those X values. They do not repeat. We are good to go. The one that is not a function, you can see at the 5, it's going to 2 different output values. That equates to the 2 coordinates 5, 4, and 5, 7. X values repeat, so it is not a function. So let's do some examples here. It says determine whether the relation is a function. If it is not a function, highlight the ordered pairs that cause it not to be a function. So looking at letter A, we have negative 2, 2, 0, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 2, negative 1, and 3, 2. So again, it's the X values that matter. We got negative 2, 0, 1 and 1. And I'm going to stop right there because the ones are repeating themselves. Therefore, this is not a function. Okay, so now it says highlight the ordered pairs that cause it not to be a function. So it's basically, it's either one of these. So one of those would have to go in order for it to be a function. So I'm going to highlight those. All right, I'm going to have you pause the video and do B and C on your own. Okay, check your work with my work. Now there could even be more repeating x values in something that's not a function. It's not just necessarily one x value that's repeating, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at our graphs. So determine whether the relation is a function or not. So if we look at these ones, especially A is it looks kind of weird because they're just distinct data points. They are not a continuous function or relation. So continuous means that there's a line going through it, meaning it includes all the data points in between. It is not continuous here. So that means wherever I draw my vertical line, it has to only hit once. So there it only hits once, there it only hits once, there it only hits once. So we are good to go here. So this is a function. So we can write function on the line below. Pause the video, do B and C on your own. Okay, check your work with my work. Neither B or C are a function. Okay, looking at number 3, we're looking at diagrams now. Now it says, does the mapping diagram represent a function, and explain. Now I put the option for you to write out the coordinates if you want. You don't have to do this if you can do it without writing out the data points. I'm going to do it. So we got 1 goes to 3. And then we got 1 goes to 4. And you know what? You can stop right there because look, my y value, or I'm sorry, my x values are repeating. So this is not a function because the input value of 1 has 2 output values, which are 3 and 4. You can also say the x values repeat. Okay? And try the next one on your own. Okay, check your work with my work. Letter B says a function because each input value has exactly 1 output value, or the x values do not repeat. All right, that's all I have for you for lesson 1, so you can self-assess right here. If you have questions or comments, please let me know.